decide your future.
Hello again, it's time for Game of the Week. For this week I'm showing you Civilization 5. I'm showing the demo on Steam. So you pretty much have three leaders you can choose from. You play about 100 turns, and there's only one map to choose from. So you can't really get through a full game, but you can take a look at the new UI and the other stuff.
May the blessings of the gods be upon you, O great
helping with
Alexander.
if you want to buy it or not,
You are the
since I was a big fan of Civ
mighty
4.
Greek nation. Your people lived for so many years in isolated city-states, legendary cities such as Athens, Sparta, Thebes, where they gave the world many great things such as democracy, philosophy, tragedy, art, and architecture, the very foundations of Western civilization. Although few in number and often hostile to each other, in the 5th century BC, they were able to defeat their much larger neighbor, Persia, on land and sea. Alexander, your people stand ready to march to war, to spread the great Greek culture to millions and to bring you everlasting glory. Are you ready to accept your destiny, King Alexander? Will you lead your people to triumph and greatness? Can you build a civilization that will stand the test of time?
Okay, so you can notice the UI is a little bit prettier. It's a little nicer than Civ 4. There are a few important differences between the games. There are little ruins and stuff similar to the barbarian villages and stuff you could find in the other games, the other Civ games, I mean. So look at the research tab here, you just quickly pick it. It's a lot friendlier and easier to pick up and play and learn to play than the other Civ games.
The haft of the arrow had been feathered with one of the eagle's own plumes. We often give our enemies the means of our own destruction.
So we'll look at the Civilopedia here. It's more user-friendly. I think that's the big difference between Civ 5 and the other Civs. It's a little easier to go through things. It's not as bulky as Civ 4's. It's, you know, a little bit prettier, a little more description to what you need. Though I guess you lose a bit of the history and detail that the other games had. But it's pretty close. So I just kind of warped ahead in the game here. You can see I've built several cities. And you can look around the map, the other civilizations you can play. So we've got Rome here. I will warn you, the AI in this game is very aggressive if you get on their borders. They do not like you having joining borders with them. They will threaten you if you build cities on their borders. And I'll look at the little city-states. This is Venice. The city-states are just that. They're cities that are not there to win the game. They can give you little tasks like taking out a different city-state or protecting them or several other things. But as I said, they don't try to win the game. Now I look over at policies. There's no religion in this game. So this is a little twist on the civics from the other Civ games. As you advance, you have more choices and things to add and different freedoms, just like civics, but it's more detailed. There are more bonuses. There's a lot more choice and options than the other games. Now look at the advisor screen. You can see they give you little details of stuff that you need to know about. Make little jokes about other people's armies, for example. You can see the little option panel, now the technology tree. So very much the same as the other Civ games, just a slight graphical improvement. I do miss religion. I do think that was a poor decision to take religion out of the game. It used to be a big part of the culture in the civics, and getting other people, the form relations in terms of someone didn't like you because you were Jewish and they were Christian, or vice versa, or etc. There are many different options. And forcing someone to a religion, they gave a different aspect to the game that's now missing. Now we'll take a look at communicating with leaders. Another difference here is that the leaders speak their own language. Marginally, it's not a direct translation of what they say underneath. But, Germans speak German, the Romans will speak Latin, etc. So let's a little look at Bismarck. And we'll look at the Ramses II here. And this is the emo Augustus.
Here is something that may be helpful.
Now you see there's a whole panel that'll show you everything you need to see. So it's a lot easier. They're not those lines that show you who's with who and graphs and stuff like that. It's a lot easier to look at. As I said, much more user-friendly for people to get into the game, and for experienced users. One thing I'll show you here is you can't stack units. This is a key difference between Civ games. A lot of the old Civ game strategy was to stack units, and you can't do it in this game. So you can have one worker in one spot, and they can't stack in one spot. And now they can move up through people, which I'm going to show you here in a second. So I can take my hoplites and I can move them through the warriors, but they can't stack on top of them. So the strategies are different. You either need to siege a city by going all around it, or you need to kind of block off a choke point here and there. And now I'll show you another difference. You can buy tiles to expand and work on. So use your gold and you can buy a tile here. I'm going to buy a few more tiles. Just going to show you how it expands out and what you get from it. I do miss real close-ups of your cities. A city view like the original Civ had. They still haven't brought that back. So as you can see, I'm building the Great Wall. And that's a look at Civ 5. This is a demo you can get for free off Steam. And it's what I've been poking at most this week, so it's the game of the week. It's helping me decide whether I want to buy it or not.